All right, all right, all right, all right. Yo, I'm back. I'm back at it again. And today, I'll be talking about women express love in the present moment. And I do these YouTube lives every Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys do find this video content of value, you guys can show your appreciation by hitting that like button, subscribing, sharing it with your friends. And if you want to further, support me some more, everything is in the description down below. All right, but I do want to get into this because this is something that even as a coach, every now and then I step away from it, and it's you don't know it until it's being brought up again. What's up, Tracy? Good seeing you here. Hello, hello. Thank you for the like. Appreciate it. But yeah, big thing. Something I didn't really think about as much. And sometimes as much as I'm helping and teaching you guys, I'm also a student as well. So sometimes, I like to be reminded. And today is one of those moments where I like to be reminded of the things that I need to be doing a little bit more. And it's very important to understand this. And so I would like to start out with a recap episode of if she disrespects you, she cannot love you. And the slide is on why respect is important in a relationship. I would even change the slide to why respect is crucial in a relationship, because here's why. Number one is that no woman that loves a man will ever disrespect him. And she might be upset. She might say certain things because she doesn't like what is happening, but she would never really fully disrespect him. Calling him names. Like just being. She wouldn't do anything like that because she doesn't want to lose him, and that's the fact. She does not want to lose him. And so what happens is that you want to add more value, so you become more irresistible as a man. And it's just not you're not doing things out of fear to scare her or anything like that. You're just adding value about yourself. How? By becoming more emotionally regulated, right? By understanding what it means when she says certain things. So now, what does it look like to add more value, right? So work on yourself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, you name it. That's something that you want to work on. And why is respect important or crucial in a relationship? Respect is actually about the freedom to be yourself. What's up, life? So it's about the freedom to be yourself and to be loved for who you are, right? Now, while respecting your partner and anyone else is just as important, respecting yourself must be number one. You have to have respect for yourself first. Otherwise, people won't. If you don't respect yourself, what makes you think other people is going to respect you? And so that is crucial. What's up? What's up, T? What's going on? So self-respect is acceptance of yourself as a whole and be unapologetic about it. It doesn't mean that you think you're perfect. Self-respect means that you hold yourself up to your own standards. So what are your goals? What are your values? And then when you're looking for someone, you want someone that has similar goals and similar values to you so that it aligns with what you guys have, right? Otherwise, you guys might just keep clashing. So, and you don't want to you don't want to worry too much about what other people think about you. And here's also another big advice. Be careful taking advice from your homies. I know they love you. I know they care about you. But it does not mean their advice is always good. Because you have to look at their relationship, what kind of relationship they have. And it's like, who would you rather believe? Would you rather believe in someone that does this for a living? Or would you rather just trust somebody else that because these are certain things that you want to hear. You got to understand that too. Now, you could talk to your friends, and it's important to express yourself because holding it in doesn't help. But, taking advice from somebody that doesn't even have a really good relationship themselves, it becomes a little bit shaky. So now, respect and love are synonymous. in a relationship. You can't truly love somebody that you don't respect. Okay? So, how is it related? How is it related to, well, women express love in a moment. How is it related? So, in order to understand respect and love, you must be able to maintain that, okay? By understanding what it means in the moment. And so, how it transitions is the idea of, well, understanding that, well, when woman tells you that she loves you and she tells you how she feels about you, all that means is that everything that she said is in the current moment. It doesn't transfer. Okay. There's no carryover. Okay. There's no rollover. Okay. It just means whatever she said, it's only in the moment. So it means that you take it at face value and you don't let that idea of her quote unquote I love you carry over to the next day, carry to the next week. Okay. She loves you that moment. Accept it as it is. This means, like I said, she told you I love you today. It doesn't mean, well, she told me she loved me last week, so it has to apply to me today. I think she still loves me today. Like, no, absolutely not. Because you never know how she feels at that moment. And it's a feeling. Things change. And when things change, why else do you think people break up even after they say, I love you? There's more to it. And so the idea is like, it's like looking at last week's weather and applying it to today as if it is still accurate. Just think about that for a second. Like, well, last week it was sunny. Last week it didn't say it was gonna rain, so it shouldn't be raining today. Like, you imagine that. Just imagine how crazy you sound going outside. You'd be like, what's the weather like today? I don't know, but last week it was sunny. So I want you to think about that in that aspect. All right. So now what you do have in your favor is emotional bonding, and it's leveraged through time. It's leveraged through time. And so when you have that emotional bonding, that time that you share with each other, obviously you're going to have more of an advantage. So this usually applies to people, let's just say that let's just say they broke up maybe about 6 months ago. Y'all both single, and she goes out on a date. Like, let's just say I was in a relationship and we broke up, and it's been 6 months. But I say for whatever reason, I'm like, I still want her back. And there are ways to do that. And what you can do is you just got to allow that time and space. If she's the one that broke it off with you, you just let her go. You let her know, hey, if you ever decide to change your mind, you give me a call. That means that, and you stay congruent with that. And when she hears that, she's like, all right, well, Mitchell said, if I ever decide to change my mind, I'll give him a call, which means that she knows exactly why she's calling you. And so when she does call you, you pick up the phone, you set up a date, and that's all it is. It's kind of like a negotiation, right? I'm not going to settle for anything else. And then let's just say she wasn't one that broke it off with you. Then she goes out, she goes on a date. Usually there's not a lot of good guys out there, okay? So you don't have to worry too much, especially if you listen to my advice. You don't really have to worry too much. Other people out there, they're going to do their thing. They're going to mess it up, and it's going to push her away. And then let's just say you do things correctly and you're like, hey, I'd love to see you. I'd love to hear from you again. But, I'm not interested in just being friends. So let me know if you change your mind. Call me. And then, we could do something together. And that's about it. But another big crucial thing is that if she is the one that broke it off with you, you just got to make sure, like, hey, she does everything. She does all 100% of the pursuing. You don't do anything else because she's the one that walked away from it. So which means that she has to be the one that reignites that relationship again if she wants another chance with you. That's how value system work. You have to value yourself. She has to be invested into coming back into your life before she gets back into your life. So anyways, that's another topic on its own. What I just explained there is congruency and how her love is expressed still in the moment. So it's how you make her feel, and that feeling is present. The only thing that she walks away from is that past moment is like, wow, I had a really good time with Mitchell. Even though we are no longer together, I still had a really good time. And what I'm saying is, we have a better emotional bond, which was leveraged through time. And so I have a leverage system compared to the new guy that she just met. You see what I'm saying? So usually it's the familiarity of, she feels safe, she feels comfortable, she understands, and she knows she could be safe around me. And by changing certain things about you, how you act, that is how you get not just her, but anybody back into your life. So it is important to not let that stay stuck in your mind. Like, oh yeah, she loves me because she told me many times before, but she stopped saying it as much, right? So it's like applying last week's weather to today, right? So anyways, her words and her feelings towards you is only in the present moment. So this means that, this is why men should never let a woman's emotion rattle you. You should not let that bother you. And I know it is a lot easier said than done. I've been there, I understand it, I know it. Excuse me. But each time that you do it, you get better and better at it. You understand it a little bit more. Now, this is why finding someone who is easygoing and easy to get along with, who isn't like a jack in a box that will get upset whenever they don't like what they hear, is very important. It's crucial to have in a relationship, right? Because you want someone who is normal, who doesn't want to cause a lot of problems. So you don't want to cause a lot of chaos, right? Also, you shouldn't let her ever changing emotions ever get to you, because she's full of emotions. She's full of chaos. You just can't let that bother you. And for most guys, you have to understand that whenever she does that certain thing, it's a test. It's a test to see if it will rattle you or not. It's a test. And the more you fail it, the more she will test you until you finally crack. Yo, I just spoke up with my girlfriend and I opened your YouTube. Boom, I found you. You're in the right place. Is it Mio? Feel free to ask any questions, but my current topic is women express love in the present moment. Okay, in the present moment, and you can only take that at face value. You cannot be like, oh, she told me last week. It has to mean that she still loves me today. No, that shit could change in like 2 minutes. Okay, I love you now. 2 minutes later, you do something, pissed her off. Okay, it's now. It's only in a moment. So Mio, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Feel free to ask any questions and where you're currently at, and I will be happy to answer some of those for you. All right. Now, having a happy and healthy relationship, what does it mean? What does that mean? If you want to have a happy and healthy relationship, one, you must be happy where you are at first, meaning it starts with you. If you're the guy, okay, if you're the man, if you're the masculine man in that relationship, you're supposed to be the guy that leads. What's up, family? You're supposed to be that guy that leads. You're supposed to be that person that is guiding where she wants to follow. That's it. And if you're not even happy with yourself first, what makes you think that her being with you is gonna make it any better? A woman in a relationship is there to amplify who you already are. Anything that you add into your life is to amplify who you already are. And so it's the same thing. It's like, imagine if you were an alcoholic. Imagine you were an alcoholic and you just drank cheap liquor. What happens when you have more money? More expensive liquor. Your hangover is probably not going to be as bad, but you're still an alcoholic. It's the same thing. It's like working out in 24-hour fitness. Not to bash on 24-hour, but some of their equipment could be updated from time to time. What I'm saying is change your shit. But it doesn't mean that if you go to 24 consistently, if you pay and that's your lifestyle, and then you go to a better, more upgraded gym, it's still working out. It's just amplify. It's just there to amplify who you already are, right? So that's what money is. That's what a relationship is. That's what a lot of things is. So having a happy, healthy relationship starts with you first. Now, and you must be present and you must be alert to gauge your woman's level of interest. And so an important thing is that, like, I'm not trying to promote any type of paranoia, like, oh my God, where's she at? How's she feeling? You know, and get fixated only at her level of interest and ignoring yours. Like, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is I want you to think of it as kind of like this. Think of it like a fitness, on a fitness level, right? If you know you've been eating like shit for the past week or the past year or whatever, right? What do you think it's gonna do to your body? It will tell you. Your body will respond to the food that you eat. Your body will respond to the way you think. And so if you eat like shit, what it's gonna say is like, look, whatever you're putting into this body is not making me feel too well. And if you continue to do that, the body will respond accordingly. And so when you change your behavior, that is how you make changes in your life, by taking action. So what I am saying now is, when you're not in the present moment, when you are not in the present moment, the future and the past will cause you to do things out of fear and causing a lot of uncertainty. And I will get a little bit deeper into that too, especially if you just broke up and you want her back or you want him back or whatever it is. Like, it's going to cause a lot of fear and uncertainty. And that is how it drives other people to do things that they shouldn't be doing. And it will push them away even more. And so by being here and understanding that, this is how you get that little cheat code to kind of understand, like, well, how do I act and how do I continue so that I not just attract my ex back into my life, but attract people in general, because people want to be with someone that is attractive. And I'm not talking just about physically attractive. I'm talking about people that are emotionally regulated and emotionally attractive. Like, these are the people that will show you who they are if you deserve it. And that's what people want. And if they like you, they will invest their time and energy onto you. And so now, in order to have a happy and healthy relationship with your girlfriend, you need to remain calm and be in your center. And yeah, as a guy, you can't be perfect. You can't always, you're not gonna be perfect. Okay, you're gonna mess up. And so you could have bad days, but you can't have bad days every day. And so if you were to have bad days, it is your job to fix it. I don't give a shit. You're the guy. Fix it. You have to participate on your own rescue. She's not there to try to save you. You're there to be the leader. And if you're the leader, you have to be the one to figure it out. So if you hear guys, especially on YouTube, and they talk about, hey, you know what? Guys, never talk about your problems. I understand where they're coming from. Because when guys start talking about their problems, they are expressing it in a way where there's two differences. When guys express their because I express my problem to my girl. I let her know. I'll be like, look, this is where I'm currently at. This is what I'm currently doing. I'm not in the right headspace. I need some time. But at the end of the day, I always tell her, I will figure it out. I will do it on my own. But if I need a little bit of your assistance, which is usually just her time and patience, I would just be like, I need you to be a little bit more patient with me right now. There's a lot of stress, and I just want you to understand that. And if I were to be a little bit more erratic than usual, just know that it's because I'm under a lot of stress. And this is not normal, but I'll get over it. And once I get over it, we'll be a lot better. Right? And I express that. So that conclusion means that eventually I'll figure out a way to help myself. Problem is, most guys, when they talk about their problems, they only talk about it. They never do anything about it. And so it becomes a cycle that she's like, well, is he ever going to do anything? It's like there's never a positive outcome or positive conclusion to it. Even though the conclusion isn't there yet, she needs to feel safe and comfortable to be like, okay, even though he's having a problem right now, maybe money is an issue, but I know that he will always eventually figure it out. That's what you want to convey. That is what you want to express. And just leaving it like that, she will feel a lot safer around you, okay? And that is how you could build that trust. And that is how she could trust your masculine core. Okay? So the relationship starts with men leading it first, which means taking care of yourself so that she could follow your leadership. Because she would want to follow your leadership if you're the leader, but if you're not and you're going around in circles, she's not gonna. No one's dumb. They're gonna figure it out. So they're not gonna want to do that. So the next slide is a quote that my coach wrote, Coach Corey Wayne. So shout out to you. It's a quote that he wrote, and it goes: "It's always best to live your life. Focus on the present moment and what you need to do right now. Why? You can't do anything about the past, and the future is not here yet. Most people's mind tends to be occupied with thoughts about the past and what may or may not happen in the future. When you are not focused on the present moment and what actions you need to take right now to create the future that you want, you create this vibration of uncertainty, inaction, procrastination, fear, doubt, and worry. And just like professional athletes can suddenly lose a game they were winning when they shift their focus to what just happened or what may or may not happen in the future, instead of staying focused on the actions that they need to take right now, your life, your relationship, your career, your business, your health, and things that are most important to you can also unravel and get off track in a very short period of time." Coach Corey Wayne. And I love that quote because, you know, just like what I said in the beginning of this live, it's like sometimes I forget to live in that present moment. And when that is taken away from me, I'm not really thinking about what's happening then. I'm thinking about what happened in the past. I'm thinking about what may or may not happen in the future. And it causes a lot of uncertainty, a lot of fear. And so I want to move on to the next slide, which is, it's a reminder. It's a reminder to get focused on the present moment. And a lot of it is just kind of reiterating what I just said earlier, but focusing on the present moment. When you're in a relationship there to give, right? Giving now becomes more difficult if you're there always focusing on what happened in the past. Like, you can't give if you're always figuring out like what happened in the past. You can't give. You're just not able to give as much. And because you're no longer currently living in the present. Most people's thoughts are focused on the past, especially in the dating world. Okay, dating or even being in a relationship. They focus on what happened in the past. A lot of people are focused on what happened in the past or what may or may not happen in the future. Like, they might say to themselves, "Oh, it probably won't be any different this time around." It's like, what's the point of going on dates? None of my dates ever work out, and if I were to go on a date and it did work well, guess what? They always leave me. It's like what may or may not happen in the future and what happened in the past. And that leaves you stuck and you're no longer living in the present moment. And so when you're dating and you're completely taken out of that present moment, it gets you into this very fearful state. It immediately starts to kind of diminish you as a person, and you're no longer centered anymore. Right? You see that center that I always talk about? That center is being in the current moment and being understanding of where you're at and not living in the future, not living in the past, but living in that present moment, that center that you have as a man. And so by living in that, what happened is now, or by not having that, what happens with most guys is that the woman starts to back away, right? They're like, oh shit, she's starting to back away more and become a little bit more distant, but she might still text him and try to do things and whatever. This kind of leaves a lot of guy kind of stuck trying to overanalyze things. It's like, well, she said she wanted to break up with me, or like she's not talking to me as much, or maybe she did break up with you, but she still kind of texts you, or she tries to still set things up, or whatever it is, or she might even ignore you, whatever it is. She might do something like that. And this naturally, what happens is this naturally leads men to try to call more, to try to text more, because it seems more logical. It makes more sense. Like, if she's backing away, I need to do more to try to get her back into my life, right? If I call her more, she will want to see me more. And that's the big problem. It's like, well, you have to see that person's action and mirror that action, because if she doesn't want to see you, what makes you think doing more will want her to see you more? And the greatest, and my Coach Corey Wayne has always said, like, the greatest negotiating position is to be able to walk away and mean it. And so if she decides that she doesn't want to be with you anymore, you let her go. You let her know that this is not what I want. You know, if that's not what you want, you let her know this is not what I want. But if that's what you want for this relationship, you're letting me know you're unilaterally deciding to change the terms of the relationship. And so, hey, look, I wish you the best, but I'm not interested in anything else but a romantic relationship. So you let me know if you're ever interested again. You let me know, but I'm not just gonna stick around and wait for you. And so you're taking back your power. You're leveraging yourself as a respectable man. You respect yourself, and that is how she expresses her love in that moment, right? You take it for what it is. If she loves you, she loves you. If she doesn't feel like she loves you, you be like, what's going on? What's on your mind? You've tried to figure it out, but you don't need to try to do something all the time. You just got to figure it out. Okay. But like I said, a lot of guys, they call more, to text more. They think that's the right thing to do. And I need to do more to get her attention. But in reality, when the guy does that, what she sees and what he sees are two completely different things. What she sees is that he's trying to force things. What she sees is that he is trying to force things onto her. But what he sees, he's like, well, I just want to get her back. So you're acting out of this fearful state. It doesn't make any sense to her. She's like, damn, why is he forcing me to try to be in this relationship? Like, that's not what I want right now. I just need space, right? So now when you zoom out and you look at this, that most guys aren't really living in a present moment. They're not living in a present moment. Just like when she says, I love you, that only happens in the present moment. And so when you're not living in a present moment, like I said, you're in this very fearful state. You're anxious. You might be a little bit paranoid, right? There's a lot of things going on. And so they're texting, they're calling more because they're afraid of future events. I need to do something so that I could try to get her back. You're not really living in a present moment anymore. And that most of the time, guys would think like, oh, that she will leave you and ghost you, or you might never get what you want from her, like being in this exclusive relationship because of what just happened in the past. So try to live in the present moment instead of focusing on what's in the future or the past, because like I said, past has already happened and the future is not here yet. By living in the current moment. And so I hope you guys understand that a little bit more, and I hope that gave you a little bit more insight as to, look, if you're not getting what you want right now, it's important to express what you want calmly, lovingly, because love is allowing, right? If you want love, you have to allow that person to come to you. You can't force things. And so by allowing them, by letting them know what you want, because you're direct, you're the guy, you're the leader, you let her know, this is what I want, this is what I don't want. And you let her know. And then you walk away from it. Greatest negotiating position, right? And so it gives her the power of her own choice to come to you. And if it's her choice to want to come back, all you have to do, like the doors are already open, all you got to do is just walk through it. And so, with that being said, that is the end of the show today. I do have a summary of all the 4 slides that I had. And so the first one is, what does it mean? So it means that you take it for face value and you don't let that idea of her love carry over to the next day or the next week. This means, like I said, if she says she loves you today, it doesn't mean you can say like, oh, well, she told me last week. It doesn't apply to today, right? Think of it as, like I said, applying last week's weather to today. It just doesn't make any sense. So having a happy and healthy relationship, you must be present and alert to gauge her level of interest. That is how you understand it. So her level of interest in the present moment, and by not letting her feelings affect you. That is very important, because she's gonna have her highs, she's gonna have her lows. But you as a guy, you got to remain centered. By remaining centered, you just have to be in the present moment. What just happened? What happened? Now I'm just explaining about relationships and how men usually they start losing them when most men, when they start losing themselves, they lose the girl. They lose the girl because they're no longer living in the present. And that is what when most guys drive their woman out of liking them again, like she just gets very turned off. She doesn't know what to do or what to do with him, but to leave him, And so Corey Wayne's quote, you can't do anything about the past and the future is not here yet. When you are not focused on the present, you create a vibration of uncertainty, inaction, procrastination, fear, doubt, mistakes, and a lot of worry. You don't need it. You don't need all that anxiety. So reminder to get focused in the present moment. Like that is where you're supposed to live. This is the past. This is the future. This is the present. And it'll only happen in the present. Okay? So that is how you remain centered as a guy. Reminder to get focused in the present. When you're dating and you're completely taken out of the present moment and you get into this fearful state, it immediately starts to diminish you. It immediately starts to diminish you. And when you start losing yourself, like I said, you start losing everybody else around you. Excuse me. So I hope that gives you guys a little bit more insight, and that you enjoyed this live of women express love in the present moment. If you guys have any questions, great time to ask me right now. Otherwise, I'm gonna sign off. I'll give you guys about a minute. Oh, also, I would like to say thank you for staying here. Thank you for listening. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do these lives every Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. I like to answer questions about relationships because, I feel like the world could use a little bit of this. It's not always about one night stands and things like that. It's about having, it is morning there. It's the afternoon. Yeah. And, like I said, today, or as I was doing this live, or not doing this live, but doing these slides that I normally do, it put me back into this realization, or being reminded of, hey, look, sometimes I need a little bit of a reminding too, Tracy, have a good weekend yourself. I hope everything goes well with you. You can always ask me if you've been here for so long, Tracy, so I really appreciate you. Anybody new here, feel free to ask me questions. But besides that, leave in a comment down below, or send me a message or something. We'll figure something out. If you guys have any questions about relationships, hope you guys have a lovely weekend and enjoy the rest of this almost summer. All right, so take it easy. I'll catch you guys on the next live. All right.